speakers, and it seems like all of us are really on the same page about working on geothermal as an issue. I'm really excited about that. It's not something we designed the training for, but I think that's really a nice direction for this group to take. So the next part, and we're so far behind schedule, it's crazy, but I'm going to try and compress these two sections here, which basically teach some tools to help us do some plans. And the first thing we're going to be talking about is sort of the elements of these plans, which are developing a shared vision, goals. And the important thing about the goals is there's steps you take to get towards your vision, but they should be really specific. You should be able to measure them, say yes or no, we did it. They should be achievable or attainable, not pie in the sky. Relevant, that means they really address the changes that you're trying to make, and that you have some kind of time frame around them. They call it, that's a SMART goal. Develop a strategy to take our overall plan to build the change in power structure or create the change that we need. Specific actions, what things we'll actually be doing as part of this overall campaign to accomplish the changes that we want. And also talk a little bit about the power that we're up against, who our target is for the campaign, what sort of power they have, what kind of power we have over them, what do we have that they need, that sort of stuff, and really understand that relationship so we'll be able to work it to our benefit. And I know this seems maybe a little bit academic, but trust me, these people in the 1%, they've got people that are MBA, PhD educated that do nothing but sit and strategize. And so we've got to, the reason this set of tools isn't here is so that we can make use of the same sorts of things, techniques, or whatever that our 1% targets are doing. So that's kind of the outline for this section, and I'll try and capture. I think there's probably some things we can skip, really.
Lance, I have a question.
Sure.
Is there some place to follow along in here?
Oh, yeah. Basically, bring it back to the manual. What I just went over is on page 33 on the participant guide. If you don't have a guide, I've got a couple of extra copies. Anyone need copies?
That's mine.
I've got another one here.
32?
33. I prefer like these copies that I'm handing out right now. If you've already got one, don't write in it that way.
I will write in it.
Yeah, okay, that's perfect.
I want to read it through back to you.
Okay. We just covered what this section is going to go over. And also, there's some sort of, categories. We talked about them last time as far as what the actions might be. Protests, non-cooperation, intervention, which is a little more invasive, and creative solutions. Brainstorming with some friends of mine, Tina, we were talking about Ho'oponopono as possibly being a style of nonviolent direct action. And anyone who understands Hawaiian culture, please correct me, but my understanding is that's more a conflict resolution technique before you get to the point of doing a direct action. You want to start from good faith, and if you can get everybody on the same page to do a Ho'oponopono, there's no need for nonviolent direct action. But a lot of times that's not the case, and most likely not going to be the case with our 1% targets that we're looking at.
Well, it can only be effective if people want to do the process.
Pardon?
It's only as effective as those that are agreeing to do the process.
Right, yeah. There's certain premises, like operating in truth, all parties being on the same page as far as wanting to resolve it, and not leaving, it's my understanding, not leaving till the problem's been solved.
Right.
So those are some pretty hard things to accomplish with HELCO. for instance.
Well, they don't exist.
It's probably not going to
None
happen.
of those conditions, if any one of those conditions are met, Pono cannot take place.
Who let the dogs out?
Nice meeting you, man.
The meetings are before your time, as a function of the process.
Bye, puppy.
Party that doesn't puppy anymore. Help us.
She's getting big.
IDG not with all those people. They've already been caught in lies, so that process cannot be executed, period.
Well, if we could actually get, the individual that can speak for the corporation, but there is no individual that can speak for the corporation. So how can you do the Ho'oponopono?
Well, you could conceivably get the president, CEO, CFO, and their board of directors to sit down. I mean, I'm just speaking for
I'm saying,
theory.
if that's what I'm saying. But you have then a group of people, okay? That's what I'm saying. That versus if you and I have an issue,
Right.
it's a lot easier to get down to we both agree we want to resolve this.
Yeah.
We know it's inside of us to do that.
It just may not be a metaphor.
Has to agree that they will solve the problem.
Right.
And the whole group, individually, all have to be telling the truth.
Right.
Yeah.
Which obviously is
That
a problem.
sounds pretty complicated.
Yeah, especially the truth part.
Yeah, especially.
Yeah.
Can't guarantee somebody's going to be telling the truth.
A major component here.
That might be a solution, conflict resolution, but it's kind of hard to include that right now in a goal right now.
So, I may have skipped over a few things in here. As far as power, one of the things that seemed like was really important too was like there's organized people, organized money, and both are types of power to just sort of looking at ways to classify the type of power that you might have over your target. Whatever your power is, it can be used for good or bad. It doesn't mean that it's automatically falls into one of those categories just based on what it is. Sorry, kind of rambling there. So we've already talked with Jim. Okay, so what I'm going to skip, we're getting up to page 38 and 39. There's they've gone and listed almost 200 ways of exerting your power over your target. And I'm not going to. We can all take these home and read them. If you find something in here that stands out as we work through this geothermal campaign that we're planning.
Can I make a suggestion?
Oh, sure.
On page 41, they said case study, y'all campaign.
Right.
So why don't we try to answer those questions?
Yeah, exactly. This is exactly where I'm going.
Yeah.
I'm headed
We have a
there.
campaign.
Right.
Yeah, what was our campaign?
Well, the campaign I think that we agreed on was stopping geothermal.
Right.
But sure.
Do you report this is there some kind of report back to MoveOn.org?
I'm not going to do that. They don't really need to know this. The most.
I'm just curious if they asked for that.
They want to know. We've already filled in the blanks on some of our actions already. They are interested in what kind of actions we're doing as a community. And I filled them in on our Occupy Halco Day that we had on April 30th and May Day. Occupy Pahoa is in there as a recurring event.
Did they give you feedback?
No, we actually give them feedback about how it went.
Yeah, this is their campaign, and so we're getting feedback on that campaign. So they're already sitting down right now talking about how successful was it, what did you run? They probably have a follow-through process.
Yeah, and part of what I heard from other trainers that are participating in this is at least the recruitment tools that are being used. Like MoveOn has massive email lists, and the website to help you locate a direct action and things like that. The trainers are asking for those to be kept alive much longer than 6 weeks. And it's just kind of not realistic that we as a country...
They don't give you access to that email list. I mean, like if you wanted to set an action, you can't use that email list.
No, you can't use their email list. You can set up an action, and then people that sign up for it, you can contact them and say, I'd like to stay in touch, which is kind of what we did with a lot of the people that showed up here.
So,
You announce the event, and then you have access to that.
well, no, then people respond, and you can make your own direct tie.
Right,
Exactly.
right.
Yeah. They don't let you harvest email addresses, and I actually think that's probably a good thing.
That's okay.
Well, definitely a good thing,
Yeah.
because that's what corporations want. There's just a recent law they were trying to pass, the CISPA thing, is they wanted to sell all our information freely to all corporations in the military. So you get the companies making profit, and they can refine it, and then you get the military so they can really ask those vital questions, like, what are you thinking?
It's a good idea. And we are going to start actually working on filling out the blanks on our campaign. I wanted to touch a little bit, one of the tools, and maybe I've got my book out of Secrets or my guide, but one of the things they were talking about in my material here was, it's actually when you're working in the campaign itself. So I'll get to that when we get to it then. And we can just go ahead and start if you want to do that. So the first part of it would be sort of describing, sorry, behind on my slides here. We're not going to do the Montgomery bus boycott. I think we're all familiar with that as a case study. We're just going to do our campaign. So, come on. All right. Page 41.
41 and 51.
Yeah.
That's what I'm on.
I'm just find the slide here. I'm a
I
little
know,
challenged.
it's like the 99 spring one, I guess.
Yeah.
And then it goes to power.
Okay. Yeah, did I already pass it?
No, I think that's it.
Oh, there we go.
That's
okay.
it. Yeah. Okay, there you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you
so,
go.
yeah, on page 41, I apologize for being a little disorganized. We're going to just talk about what our campaign is.
We're gonna fire you.
Dock my pay.
Yeah.
No more Chex Mix for you, buddy. That's right.
Okay.
Enough of your shenanigans.
All right. So, what is our campaign? Well, I think we said.
Occupy Elko.
Okay, do we want to include both? Are you guys okay with having it be Occupy Helco and Occupy
Because I think
Geothermal?
Helco is related to this geothermal.
Well,
It's their grid, and they want to maintain their power. That's who's the big push behind the
They're all
whole
part
thing.
of it. And, I mean, another option might be the Democratic Party.
Yeah, we've also got the state legislature they actually passed that cable bill,
Yeah.
and it's taxpayer funded.
I think on the Democratic Party, we might want to wait and see what their resolutions
And I
are.
think beyond.
Oh, I do have an update. They passed our anti-Helco.
Really?
Yes, all 3 pages of
Well,
it.
then maybe we can't.
It was a resolution, right?
Yes, a resolution.
So it's
Non-binding.
If it was an ordinance in the law, it'd be a lot.
Well, see, that's where we're going next is county council. That's one of the stakeholders. We need to break down who the players are and how we work each of them to get.
And I think ultimately too, I've been a big proponent of corporate personhood, because that is really what gives them authority under the law to dictate to us. That says that corporations are sovereign. When we say corporations are persons, they are sovereign under the We the People clause of the Constitution.
And vote with unlimited dollars.
Yeah, I'm on the dollar.
I'm not involved. I have not been
But
involved.
that's the thing in the future. That's I think is the make the system so we don't have this problem in the future for people who come after us.
That's long term.
Well,
I mean that's the overarching thing, but we got to start from somewhere, and that's what I like.
That's see your ceiling.
Yeah, that's the ceiling. That's the ultimate
Yeah.
prize.
Okay. Let me. I don't know
I
how
have
big is that.
issues like with Occupy Helco geothermal, okay? I don't have a problem with the geothermal. The Helco, and I understand some of the arguments, okay, but I see that unless we are occupying Helco with our signs about alternatives to geothermal, things like that, I see the Helco thing actually being divisive. That's just my observation. Because everyone pretty much on the island believe that they need Helco. Okay. So that's just my concern that...
Well, I'd like to speak about Occupy Helco and what I think Occupy Hilo envisions for that, if that's all right. And I'm going to stump for it staying on the list, but I'm open. I mean,
I want to talk about it.
Sort of the Occupy Hilo vision of Helco of the future is Helco goes away. The private ownership of the grid goes away, and we, the people, own either a municipal, governmental utility or a people's nonprofit cooperative. But basically, we, the people, control it. We take the profit out of it. It's just here to serve us at the lowest possible cost, maximum delivery of...
It's considered a necessity, and therefore there is no need for public...
no need to make profit off it.
Right, any profit.
Yeah.
Let alone triple
Could I just make a comment to that? Just because I was just on Kauai, and this is just a little bit of knowledge that I have, but they are supposed to have a cooperative. And somebody said that, at the end of the year they get a check or something. Their rates are really high, and now they're putting in smart meters that have radioactivity in them, and now people are protesting. And so I don't know.
I know a little of the backstory on that.
Okay, but I'm just saying that.
Basically they really got gypped in buying the utility. There was a bidding war for the people to actually buy the utility from the old company. And so the reason they're paying the highest rates in the state, they're paying more than we are here in Hawaii Island, is to pay off the debt for acquiring that company.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Right.
I helped bring a water company into the community-owned type thing, and the way they evaluate it, because of how they do their improvements and stuff, it made no sense. I mean, when we finally got down to it, the rate factors to acquire that was so off the wall. Instead of saying, well, wait a minute, we should take into account all the money they have collected for the last 10 years, offset that to the acquisition. But anyway, that's a...
So there's complications.
There are complications. It seems good until you get into the midst of it. When the utility was $500,000, and in 5 years it went to $15 million. And then we had to cover that with 8,000 people. So the rate structure really went off the wall.
Well, and one of the options of the people's utility might be that we just find funding for every household to get their own solar independent system.
That's more cost effective than the other.
I'm not specifying what kind of solution we'll come up with, but just that's sort of our general idea, and we can really flesh that out more and see what works.
Right.
But I'd like to keep it on the list because, for myself, I don't want to continue paying Helco.
Well, from that point of view, I don't have an issue. I'm just
I'm
solution oriented.
Right.
Would it help if I explained the genesis of Occupy Helco?
Sure, yeah.
Why we're doing this at all? I could probably do that.
Okay.
At an Occupy Hilo General Assembly, I proposed that Occupy Portland was doing this action called Shut Down the Corporations. And that I think it would be a good one. It's Leap Day, it'd be fun, and we can, they'd still love us from the port thing. They still bring it up all the time from 5 months ago. They love that we went down to the port. So let's do this, shut down the corporations. And I was like, okay, that sounds good. Well, okay, it's the ALEC corporations, the American Legislative Exchange Council. We need to pick one of these corporations, Walmart, AT&T, Coke, all the really big bad ones. So what corporation do we want to go after here in Hawaii? And everybody said, let's get Helco!
Yeah.
And I said, okay, no, and then I tried again, and I think I tried a couple of GAs in a row to route this back to the ALEC thing, but once everybody got in their head that we were going to go after Helco, it just took on its own life from there, and so that's where the energy of the group was.
Well, just as far as Helco goes, I think you're going to have much wider support against Helco than you will have against geothermal, just because Helco's been sticking it to everybody for so long. When we go down there, we have the pro-geothermal people protesting
Yeah.
against Elko, not only just Angelo.
Okay.
It's two separate issues. I almost would
You want to
have a
split it?
friendly amendment to maybe split this out, and that's what I'm explaining.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started with the shut down the corporation thing, and then it switched to Helco because that was our local take on the national scale. And so we spent like a month promoting this event. Actually, it's this one. I still have a few of the flyers left. This was the shut down the corporations thing.
That was pretty successful.
And we got listed. Look, it says Hilo there, along with Phoenix and Dallas and all those other things. This is why we do national actions, people. Okay, and this is also why it would have been good to pick an Alec Corporation, because we could have played that for a while.
Well, we tried
But we're on the
Walmart.
Helco. And so we had our first demonstration on Wednesday, the 29th, and it was very well attended. We had Malu Aina sign on board with us, and Paley Defense Fund, and so they sent people too, and we had 75 people down there or so. It was a good day, in the pouring rain.
Yeah.
So that was a good deal. It was a good event. We had solidarity from other groups, and so and what? A lot of honking. We had press coverage galore. There was a half a dozen articles in different little papers and whatnot.
And for Helco, we can start with Helco, and then we can make the logical leap to the bigger companies,
Yeah.
Walmart, and get people thinking about these big companies taking over our lives. And this is a perfect lead into what's Walmart doing to us? What's this thing? And then you can have
Well, that's how geothermal got into the Helco
after.
thing. Is so we started to think about what agencies, what companies would lead into that, and of course, and then we have our protest on Wednesday the 29th, and Bob gets home that night and posts a picture on Facebook of a drill rig in his backyard that we honestly didn't even know was coming. So that's when, we already had Paley Defense Fund signed on for the action, and then when that thing started drilling again, we just focused like a laser beam on that for a while. So there was some dissent, but they're gone now. So.
I just want to say one more thing. Is what Occupy Wall Street has done for the U.S. and the world is change the dialogue right now. It's just people are just arguing now. A lot more people are getting involved now because the dialogue has been changed. They did this powerful scene that instead of people thinking about Wall Street, and now it's taken off. It's pushing forward, and I think it's hitting home to a lot of people, and that's what we got to start doing.
Well, it's
change
getting
the dialogue,
localized.
and I think that's what Helco does. Is change the dialogue. It looks like the corporations are running our society. Do they have too much power? I think they do.
Yeah, and this is really one of the nice things about Occupy is that it really is scalable to your local community, and that's where the most impact is locally. And Helco and geothermal both are
they're related. Helco needs the grill.
So as far as the amendment, I have no problem separating them for the purpose of the work we're doing today. I don't think Occupy Hilo is going to let Occupy Helco go, regardless to maybe what happens in this room. But what's the sense of people in here? Do you want to keep them together for planning today, or you want to separate them?
I remove my objection hearing from those that are directly involved. I just didn't want us to be divisive.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I think they're both related. They're overlapping.
Kind of dovetailed, right?
Yeah, they're dovetailed, and I think they will always be because they are related.
I want to respect dissenting opinion.
Just a comment. Maybe if we focus on one, which
Exactly.
I would like to focus on geothermal myself, but
I think the energy in the room really is on geothermal.
and the Helco's still going on, and then as it
we can
comes
pull them back together.
we do it.
I am too. I don't think Helco's going to go away.
Nope.
And I think
Well,
those
it could be
But they're related. They're overlapping.
But Helco could be one of the targets of geothermal because at the moment
Yes.
Helco
Right.
is the visible target. But as they pull permits or start to look for drill sites, there may be other targets that. So maybe Helco will just come under your heading.
Yeah, sure.
And I think
Just as an aside, I talked to Jay Ignacio that day. I asked him, I said, why doesn't Helco require, since you're buying energy from these guys, why don't you require health studies and all these things from these guys? And he went like, that's not our business. So, you got to know that these guys don't care about any of us, right?
yeah,
And so,
Go in the board,
thing is-
talk about it in the boardroom, how much it's gonna make profit that
Well,
money.
the thing is on the health study, if
What's it gonna cost?
I think they're scared to do the health study because of what they're going to get. Because if otherwise, if it was me, I would do the health study and say you guys are full of shit. Here's the health study that proves it.
Exactly.
You know, the fact that they haven't done the health studies says that they're worried.
They know the results of it, that's the problem.
Yeah.
I think they are.
what was clear to me was that they're not even interested in the human side of it.
No, it's all about what's it gonna cost money-wise for the shareholders.
Yeah, but that's just an aside. I just wanted,
They're not the biggest white
I just
company.
wanted to let you guys know what he was
County
thinking.
well, I thought that so far. It's a county well they had it.
Okay, so I think we're going to just work on geothermal today. If I'm wrong about that, somebody stop me. Oh, hey, Tom.
Hey!
This is our next door neighbor. He wants to sit in.
Maybe we're a new member here.
I can sit.
I'm going to commandeer this chair off and on, but any other open spot you can help yourself to bring you up to
I don't think
speed.
the ladies will bite.
Don't think who's speaking.
So we're talking about nonviolent direct actions, and we're actually working through putting together a campaign right now. And what looks like we picked geothermal as our no geothermal as our position we're talking about.
So does that mean you're losing the part about buying the grid and all that? Because I just want to. I mean, I don't want to.
Well, yeah, now I'm sad. I don't want a friendly amendment to death. That wasn't my intention at all.
Well, you can't make that decision until you know what the cost factors are. You just have to.
Okay, well we can keep them. It's
No, I'm just asking because I just want, if you are, I want to comment out. If you're not, I don't want to comment.
okay. I'm just facilitating. If there's.
I think we leave it in. I don't think we throw it
Yeah.
in.
About buying
It's
the
all
grid.
related.
Let's just
Okay,
go
well-
forward, see where let's not let Travis, let's just get a bunch of ideas up there and then we'll
Yeah.
knock them off.
We
Just
can
keep
talk
throwing
about
knives.
We're gonna
We're
talk
at the
about
stage
the
of just
grid, then I
thinking,
wanna talk about it.
brainstorming.
Sure, and if
Brainstorm.
Taco's in there and we're talking about the grids, and that'll come up under the piece where we're talking about strategy. So I'm not sold on it one way or the other. I mean, I also like the idea of sabotaging and pulling off entirely and letting them
I
sink
like
in
that,
their
but-
right.
Yeah,
So,
I think that's where we're going. And, I mean, when we're not going to talk of grid, but I wouldn't have touched
okay.
this one. Microgrids, I guess, covers it, but to retract the grid, because the grid is an antique technology.
Yeah.
Smart grids.
It's not. It's an 18th century technology that we're now living in the 21st century, and they're using this grid to maintain a monopoly. Is what
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're getting that. So.
You know, I'm thinking, it's like, you know what, I keep thinking, what I want is an answer on why they're keeping the most obvious point of renewable energy from us and having us go around to all these different things, because we naturally get wind here and we naturally get sun
And waves.
we naturally have hydro.
Okay, so your vision is that
Waterfalls.
we use the natural clean things in our environment.
Exactly.
Yeah, what is the
So
negative?
why are they trying to pollute us?
Because they want to maintain their monopoly.
Well, they want to maintain the profit.
Yeah.
And they've been told it's clean.
the CEO
I
is
mean,
making $6
they're
million.
not-
Wants to keep
honestly.
the
That's
paycheck.
true.
Really?
We've all been told.
They're not
We've all been told that
out
this
to
stuff is
poison
clean,
you.
that
They just
geothermal
kind of don't
is right.
care. If
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Exactly.
They can
tell us
look
what's
past
wrong with
that.
They said,
the
"Oh, do
way-
it, no,
yeah,
just-
I like
Okay,
that.
just as an other side,
It's not an all-inclusive list.
generation
and-
in Texas, where there are huge wind farms, the wind passing the back of the propeller drops the temperature. There's some convection that's supposed to take place.
Yeah.
It's during the day, the cold air, the warm air stays at the bottom, and and at night it switches. Well, because of the windmills and the number of them, it drops the temperature at night. That doesn't happen. That switch doesn't.
But
And
why-
it drops the
but why does it
temperature
have
like
to be all-inclusive?
0.73
Just a little bit,
degrees
yeah.
Celsius.
So cool effect.
And it's causing crops to fail. It's getting too hot.
But it
Because
doesn't,
of
but it
the-
doesn't have to be all inclusive.
Yeah.
Everybody should be able to choose. You can have as many as you want, but everybody should be able to choose what their energy source is and be able to get it no matter where you live. And whether you're renting or whether you're owning or whether you're building, to be able to have the energy that's there to have your choice.
So there's drawbacks to lots of these different things, and there is drawbacks to wind, and I've heard a lot of, and I don't think, wind may be part of the solution at some points, but it's going to have to be looked at pretty carefully. The biggest drawback they talk about when they talk about solar is that it's not base load, but that's changed.
Yeah, there's technology.
That's the thing. And so education, the biggest problem we have is that people really don't understand. They're not educated on because solar. I like solar. I've been doing a lot of research on this, and I'm not saying it's the cure-all for everything, but I really like solar. And some of the reasons I really like it is the price dropped 80% over the last 3 years. It's supposed to drop 50% this year. There's nothing else I see that the price is dropping. And also, I like it because now they have the new battery technology, this molten salt battery technology, which is a liquid battery.
That's thermal storage.
No, it's not only thermal storage. They have a battery now, a liquid battery. That guy, did you see that TED Talk video? Anyway, there's just the advances. You got MIT, you got Lawrence Livermore Laboratory. You don't got to write all this down. Just the Sandinista Laboratory, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. They're all working on new solar stuff and new batteries, and the advances are almost monthly. It's advancing so fast that to not look at it is
Collector efficiency as well.
to not look at it. Yeah.
Yeah, you got paid on solar.
See, that's gonna mean having people money's drying up. Right now, we're having an economic downturn because of Wall Street's shenanigans. So we need funding for this. We need it should be from on high, helping the grassroots.
There's
and
lots of,
taking-
if you can
people
fund the
subsidized.
cable, you can fund
You
solar,
can fund
you
the
can
other.
fund geothermal plants,
Exactly.
you can fund
And
solar.
Yes.
The cable's what, 10
Exactly.
billion?
Yeah.
But see, they're not doing
One,
that
they
because they're
said
serving
in the
bigger
paper.
grid, the monopolies.
One.
They're lobbying our government to maintain their position of power.
Exactly.
That's the problem.
Did you say the 10 billion would fund
Yes,
solar
I did
panels
say that.
on?
$20,000 for 500,000 houses is $10 billion.
I think that's a real good argument to be used.
I need to ask you, Gary, I don't want to overlook your concern about wind power. I just need to ask, is that something you know about? Is it big wind, like the big towers when you have lots of them? Or is it the
it's
little
big-
micro?
The bigger the blade the bigger the turbine blade,
Right.
The more the
the
effects.
more it's going to affect.
Well,
Okay,
it's how far out from the turbulence, isn't it, Jeff?
I'm also against big wind because it involves big land grabs to do it. And they usually bulldoze the whole thing. You can't go in there anymore, and it's ruined forever now, plus the reef down at the bottom of the ridge.
And
So,
that's, I
no
think,
big wind.
Right.
large-scale energy projects, almost anywhere you go on the planet, there's going to be those kinds of environmental destruction
Right.
issues.
Well, now
Yeah,
it's
when we
centralized power.
It's centralized.
That's
Right,
so
like that huge
decentralized.
one
That's
that
really the end of
Kansas
decentralization.
flipped on, and
Big-
Tunisia's
A
going to
couple
make it.
windmills on your own property, even if it's small.
What about the wave? Didn't we have
It's
a
a
wave?
junction with something else.
Wave
don't think
plant
it's
over on the
developed
side?
Actually, it's OTAC. There's 2 of them going in on Kona side and 100 megawatts going on Oahu.
There's more
Yeah,
than
it's ocean
ocean.
temperature.
You know,
Any negative consequences to that energy? Then
What I have read about it, there's a few potential drawbacks. One is depending on what they're using for their working fluid. It can either be like isobutane or ammonia, or they can actually put the ocean water under vacuum to get. Those are the 3 technologies. So it's possible to have something rupture and you spill ammonia into the seawater. It's pretty quick to find that, stop it. Isobutane is flammable, so those are some risks there. Also, the thermal problem. If you don't design your intake and output on OTEC, you can harm the reefs and stuff. You're dumping cold water onto a warm water reef. That's bad news. But I think the good news is, and I've also heard people criticize, harming fish and wildlife with the intake and stuff. Well, Kona's been operating for 12 years already. And all the OTEC plant over there is going to do is tie into the existing pipelines. So it shouldn't, that particular project shouldn't have a negative impact.
Gina never got to finish. Huh?
Oh, sorry. Am I trampling people?
It wasn't you, everybody's talking about you.
Oh.
It broke down again.
Oh, I remember now. Just, really large-scale energy projects, which, it does come down to centralization. To think about, the people, the community, local areas. So naturally, our projects are going to be smaller scale. When we talk about microgrids, we talk about people's utility districts, things like that. So thinking about scale being appropriate, bioregionally appropriate, we're on an island, so no need to have 10,000 acres of wind on our island so that Oahu and other places can be
The only
powered up.
reason to have those are to centralize the power supply so you can control it. Decentralizing the power should be one of our visions, I think.
and see,
The vision, long-term
Island
vision.
independence, so we don't have Oahu coming out.
community
Home
independence.
rule. Yeah.
Home rule, yeah.
So that also plays into this buying the grid. Don't buy the grid because we're going to decentralize and Helco's going to rip you off just like what happened to the people on Kauai.
Not buying anything.
Don't buy the grid, because that's
Take it.
right. You're going to sell us the grid, the states the grid, and then it's going to be obsolete.
Right, it's
And then,
Exactly.
then some private company's going to come in and start selling us to the micro could have done this locally. But, yeah, I can see that happening.
Oh, gosh. Okay, are we feeling visioned out, or do we still have?
I have a suggestion.
One more vision?
Let's create a vision statement to make it specific. We're trying to.
Yeah.
What specific goal goes on to try to get specific here, and then what vision and what we just talked about geothermal and all these things. What
Okay.
can we
That's fine.
Uh,
Sustainable, decentralized.
The idea of sustainability comes to mind.
And decentralized.
Yeah.
Decentralized. On a fresh piece of paper, let's write a sentence. Like,
Yeah,
we believe that sustainability, blah blah whatever, and we can all.
We may have to wordsmith a bit, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Just go ahead.
Maybe it'd be easier if we had electronic.
I know. Well, we could.
Let's.
No, but we can do it now.
Well, I'm just trying to think because I can probably pull up like my word processor, and we can just do it here.
That might be.
And why not use technology to help us? Okay. Hopefully it won't crash on me. Okay.
The old Monopoly Windows.
Yeah, exactly. I might need to blow this up a little bit bigger.
Make it a 40.
Does it? Oops. Sorry. I don't think there's any sound on the. Can people read that, or should I zoom in?
That's fine.
Okay. All right. Okay. All the margins are there. All right. So let's go. Vision statement.
Decentralized island sustainability.
How about if we just say like we want or something?
We propose or something like that. Yeah.
Or we envision
Propose.
a future
We envision, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
where
Efficient, make sure you get efficient in there because the grid is really inefficient.
okay.
Yeah.
We want it efficient. We want it to be decentralized. We want it to be sustainable, environmental. Sustainable environmental is the same on by definition.
No.
We're just talking about electricity here, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. We want to take back the water from the federal government that they own on our land now.
Yeah. Okay. So we said efficient.
Pretty bad when we're catching water.
Clean.
Clean. Community owned.
Affordable.
Safe.
I'm going to put at least cost.
Well,
For
almost so
affordable.
subjective, but
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
decentralized makes it affordable.
It's an element of it. I think I really.
Cost effective, maybe.
Well,
How about environmentally sustainable?
okay.
Well, we have
Good,
clean and
yes,
we have
yes.
sustainable. Okay,
Oh,
environmental.
you do, I'm sorry.
Is community owned and decentralized, I mean, are those kind of two different directions, though?
No, I don't see them as incompatible.
Safe.
Safe.
How
Okay.
do you say it before? There was,
What else do we have?
Renewable power system.
best. I like the way you said the best energy future
Okay.
for Hawaii.
Okay.
Best energy future?
Yeah, because I think that's
Yeah.
that's what we all want.
That's
best
what we want,
energy
best
future for
energy.
Hawaii, and I think that says a lot. Yeah, not just the Hawaii Island.
Are we talking about Hawaii, the whole state, or?
I think we should.
Yeah, the whole state.
Okay.
Nation of Hawaii.
Well, then you get into another subject. state and nation of Soto Island.
That's right, state nation.
Let's see.
We're having a vision
And we can, we can massage.
We'll separate
Yeah,
that.
that would be good to create a sentence and paragraph. Usually they tell you to do a paragraph, and then take that paragraph to make a sentence. One sentence, you say it all.
Yeah. These are just,
Well, there's a difference between a vision statement and a mission statement, though. Vision statement can be long. Mission statement must be one sentence, or it's too big a mission.
yeah. Exactly.
Nobody can remember it to restate it, so it has to be pretty simple.
Yeah, and it'll help us make specific goals and what we're trying to win.
Yeah, that's one of the next sections.
That's personal responsibility. There's also personal authority, too.
We're probably going to have to
You
wordsmith
have
some
control
more.
of your energy. You have personal authority.
That's
What
what
if-
we
When they
got
centralize
Okay.
power, they have authority. We have
Personal
personal
responsibility,
Yes, that's why they want centralized power.
You see the word home rule in there somewhere?
Aye.
Also a smaller footprint.
which is conservation. Reducing the size of our park.
I like smallest possible footprint.
What these guys are talking
Yeah.
about, personal, being responsible for the energy you consume, like each community being
Uh-huh.
responsible. So they have, if you want a geothermal plant, then that, if it's for you, then that's up to you.
Right.
But you're not being forced on you.
But if you want a geothermal plant, don't put it in my bed.
Right, let you take your own
On
end.
my island.
Or my island.
Yeah.
On my island.
But what is happening is that the poor people
That's right.
won't say it. They don't. They're easiest to dump it on. They'll say, "Oh, NIMBY, tough. You got it anyways. Stop us." And they're too poor to stop you.
Yeah, and they're making more people poor, so it's easier to stop.
What they're lacking money, they're lacking people organizing the power. That's what we've got is organizing. That's all we want.
I don't really know how to capture the financing piece that we talked about. The cable.
All we got is
Well, the cable.
Convert cost of cable to, convert public funded cable to sustainable action.
It seems like we're getting into
Specific.
goals rather than vision.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
getting into
Redundance. Now, we've got personal and community responsibility that could go under community owned. Supports home rule independence, local decision making, and community owned. Smallest possible footprint is summed up by efficient.
Oh, good. So let's do that. Should we?
consolidate them into the.
That's how you start
Yeah.
actually making a
Yeah.
sentence out of
Yeah.
it. Is
Yep.
Right.
I mean, vision versus goals.
Well, goals are actually steps that you take along the way to get you to this
To get to
ideal future. So they're going to look different than these. An example of a goal might be to actually create a PUD here, People's Utility District. That's
Or convert public funded cable money.
yeah, that's more. I think that's more of a goal. There was something though about the vision. Well, maybe it doesn't. Maybe you're right. Maybe it doesn't belong in vision. But it has. The vision had to do with how it was financed, and that's really what we were trying to capture. Maybe not with the best words. So I'm going to put this as a goal. So I agree with.
That new section below that.
Yeah, we'll move it later.
Yeah.
But is there something we need to say about the financing piece?
Not in our vision. It's already getting
Okay.
pretty muddled.
All right. And
Well, I mean, you could say if the public funding is going to be used,
I think that actually belongs in strategy.
Yeah, that's
probably not.
Okay.
well. Y'all, that is step 2 here. Or no, 3.
Yeah, it's.
I just hate
It's
typing.
3. It's next.
And you know, rather than get us lost in wordsmithing, like trying to get this totally perfect, how about we get these bullet points out to everybody, and we can come back. I don't know. It's another option I've seen because I feel like we're getting stuck at this point. I can email this to everybody, and we can collaborate on it and come up with something we all go, yeah, it's perfect.
Have a contest. Who can make the best sentence?
Yeah, exactly.
We'll all vote on it and see which one we like best.
It's really hard, and I'm trying to save our time too and get us through as much as possible. So these are our bullet points for our vision, whether it's a grammatically correct sentence or not. And the next part would be goals, and we talked about making those specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, time-bound.
Smart goals.
Yeah, smart. And I'm going to honor, Tina and I did a little bit of brainstorming. I think this is probably the right place to put this, but when you're talking about having them be measurable, there's sort of a planning cycle you get into. And I'm pulling this particular model. It's not perfect, but it's at least a point of departure. Not in your book or anything, but something I learned in quality management. And there's probably different tools used in education. Don't know. I'm not an educator. But we call this one plan, do, check, act. And basically what that is you want to know when you're setting your goals, how do you know when you've gotten there? And in this model, you're continuously refining what those goals are based on your measurements. And that will feed into whatever strategies you adopt later on. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. This is like one of the standard planning tools. I can copy that to you guys anyway. Just getting in there the idea that we want to be able to measure our progress and use and continually refine things. I think that's the most important point of that. So what would some of the goals be? Okay, so stop geo. Okay, all right.
That's the way it went, right?
If that's an absolute goal, otherwise, I guess what comes to my mind is that at this stage of the game, stopping geothermal seems like a very major task.
It's a broad scope.
That's what you were working to win.
Making geothermal work as best as possible for the Big Island is a secondary goal, I guess.
Can I make a small statement here?
Sure.
Okay. And, I don't want to get involved. I just want to see Ike get elected. What I found in the past, and I'm pretty political savvy in the Hawaiian scope of county council. And it was just a few years ago when we had, I'm trying to think of the gentleman's name, Gumbach?
Gubak?
Gubach? What is it, Kyle?
Gubak?
Okay.
Gubak.
What he did is that he went up publicly, strongly with the Connecticut, he was a Connecticut councilman, circumstances, he denounced OTEC. And that was his downfall. Okay? When he did that in public debates, you know, he was not just talking to the Conecuh people. He was talking to everybody. And it blew him right out of the saddle. What I'm seeing here right now is negative, very, very much negative against geothermal energy, and not coming up with a viable solution for using geothermal. We're just coming up with, no, we don't want it, we don't like it.
Well,
This
Tom,
is
I
what
can
Grumbuck
address that. I
did.
can address that for geothermal.
And it killed
Geothermal's
it.
not, where it's sited in Hawaii, it's sited in the middle of a residential community with no buffers or setbacks, and so they would have to create a buffer or setback or move all the people to make it operate safely.
I understand. I
It
read
can't be
the
done.
blogs. I read all the, I read all that also. And I read the 10-mile limit, which puts Pahoa right in the middle of the ground zero if something happened.
We have been listing lots of another vision of doing microgrids, of making the whole idea of drilling all over Kuna an idea that doesn't.
Right now, they're not talking about drilling. They're talking about drilling Kona.
Kona
That's
and
not
more
true.
in
That's
Kuna
not
as
true.
well.
You know what? There's a lot of untruths
Well, I'll
about
tell
a
you.
lot of stuff.
Well, but I talked
But
to Richard
I'm
Haw.
worried. I know Richard very
Okay,
well.
well, he says they're
But
going to
I'm
drill in
worried
Kapoho.
about Ike.
What you're saying is that's not true.
I'm worried
You're
about
wrong.
Ike hanging his hat on one principle here
Well,
in Hawaii.
Okay.
I need to step
And
in.
getting
I need to step in
getting
on that
shut
because
down.
this isn't an elect EK paying to council meeting. This is a community meeting where we're focusing on our community's strategy for dealing with community
All right,
problems.
I stand corrected.
This,
Can I read the definition
I think your
of
point's
goal?
well taken though from.
Yeah.
Please.
Okay.
I just couldn't let it go on about this.
Good.
The purpose being to elect EK because we're not here for that. We're here to help
Oh,
the
okay.
community.
Well, then I stand corrected.
Okay.
Everybody apologize.
Okay, goals.
33?
No, I just want.
No, I do too. He's golden, but that's not why we're here today.
Okay, goals. The goal is what we are working to win or change right now. It's a step toward your vision. For example, goals might include winning a moratorium on foreclosures in your state, winning principal reduction for homeowners from the bank, increasing the minimum wage,
Steps to a step.
closing tax loopholes, or shutting down a coal plant.
Yeah, so we're talking about shutting down
Yeah, shutting
thermal
down.
coal.
Exactly.
Well, but in lieu of shutting it down, we also want to say, you know what? Our goal is also to make sure that if it's going to exist, that we have a 10-mile buffer.
Yes.
That's
yes.
a goal.
And we-
Yes.
And we should, like he's expressed, it's all like negative. We've got to try to turn around so we want positive things. We want a cleaner. We got to point to that it's dirty, but we're seeking clean. And we should, and I think poverty dumping is people are poor over there because they can't fight. They're too busy working to fight it every day,
That reminds.
so they get dumped on. I'm sorry.
No, you were talking and I
I
interrupted.
feel
I'm
about
sorry.
it too.
No. But I just figured, I just kind of picture this flyer too, like geothermal, and put the facts. Emits CO2 or
Yeah,
something,
bullet points
or
like
whatever.
that, yeah.
And then we want clean air. You know, you could
Automobile.
Yeah.
Something like
I
that.
mean, you know,
Exactly.
we can put what we want, and we can show how geothermal, if indeed that's the truth.
Change the
You know,
dialogue.
Yeah,
isn't that?
yeah, exactly. It doesn't fit.
Yeah, that's the idea.
So I like that actually as a goal too, is educating the community about how geothermal doesn't fit the vision.
Yes. Yes.
It is not.
Okay, nobody cares that they want us to pick a goal, right? We're supposed to focus people. We're supposed to pick a goal, like overarching, like shut down geothermal. Okay, or help go to the people or something like that, and then all of these would be more specific steps on how to achieve the goal. And it's okay to have 6 goals, but I am concerned that we won't achieve any of them if we spread ourselves this thinly. That's my concern.
Get specific. Educate the community on how geothermal does.
I think that's
geothermal.
That's it. I think.
Yeah, that's what we have right here, right?
Well, it seems achievable if that's what we're.
I would, if we're going to go kind of that broad, I'd like to also educate the community about the advantages of microgrids and renewable energy while we're doing that.
Should it be part of the strategy?
Yeah, strategy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Or even goals that could be.
We saw strategy and tactics even, so we can differentiate between those two
Educate
things.
community about energy
But we should
options.
try and focus on a goal, one goal.
Real life,
That's my hope.
I'm with you guys, so.
How about the benefits of alternative energy other than geothermal?
That's pretty much what we're saying above.
Yeah.
Sustainable, renewable.
Right.
But what specific
goal
goals
here
are
is
you
focusing on one goal, like the geothermal. And those could be part of a, those other goals could be part of a vision statement. Could help formulate the vision statement. But the goal is right now is immediate to get geothermal stopped.
Yeah, that's probably the most pressing thing. Stop geothermal and stop the cable from wrecking our ocean.
In our vision statement, we can say this is what we want for our island and our state. Incorporate all those goals. We say that in our vision statement.
Yeah.
Because we want sustainability, we want clean air, we want clean water.
I actually think the ones underneath there might belong in our strategy. Looking at. Yeah, I don't want to drop them, but I think that's probably where they'd go. Anyone have strong feeling about leaving the goal at stopping geothermal, or do we want to have anything in there about the alternative energy? The part we're going to do in different, or as an alternative to that.
Stopping
Hopefully the idea of our goal is to
geothermal.
educate about alternatives to geothermal, but
I think those are 2 different goals. I
think the goal should be stop geothermal.
Strategy.
If you're gonna
Okay.
explain it,
Just
you gotta-
stop
I
Shutting it down is
Okay.
the goal. Education
way up in the
is
air.
Stop talking around it. Stop talking around it.
Because
The
if
goal
you
is
can
stop
focus on the
Okay.
stop geothermal,
All right.
it's clear what your vision is. There is a group for that Paley Defense Fund, but like Polly was saying, they're the only one. And so if we could put another feather in that cap and say that we're a group too,
and
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It would add political moxie to what Polly's doing.
Okay, but now, and then in other places, you're gonna talk about alternatives and the reasons why you feel that way.
Well, then maybe our goal should be something more general, like
Well,
clean
I'm saying
energy
because-
Hawaii, and then geothermal is not one of them, and we explain why.
That-
But it's
that-
not
okay.
the poster child of our vision
I think,
statement. You know what I mean?
When we talk about alternatives to geothermal, that is part of the education, which is.
Okay, well, I have no problem
It's a
with
strategy.
I have no problem with stop geothermal, but I think Tom does make a good point. If you just say stop geothermal, people don't understand why you're saying
It's just
that.
negative
It's a
Yeah.
problem.
exactly.
So I don't know the answer to this, but we have legitimate scientific and alternative reasons why we feel that way.
Absolutely.
And so how do we get people to look at what, listen to what we have to say? Because once they listen to what we have to say,
Which is a
we
strategy.
Make
have
their
a
own
good
conclusion.
case.
Yeah,
So
it's
I don't know.
strategy.
That's what I'm saying. It's covered somewhere.
You gotta-
know,
But that's
you
why
gotta
it's back to the
strategy for
idea that our goal is
education.
to educate, because this helps people
Yeah, I like
understand
Yeah.
why they don't want geothermal, to
So-
be honest, when they have all the
Yeah, so
facts.
I guess what we're trying to get is specific goals, what we can, the baby step we want to do now. That's what I think this
Well,
exercise is trying to do.
actually,
What next
The,
step? we
the
wanna do?
baby steps are actually the tactics and the actions.
Yeah.
This is more a big campaign. Remember, we were talking about campaigns earlier. They can go on for a decade
Yeah.
or more. So,
What if we
yeah.
What if we simplified it stop geothermal / promote clean, renewable energy.
How about just promote the clean?
Right.
Right?
Promote clean,
And then everything
Promote
else comes
clean
under
energy.
that.
Promote.
And then the awesomely, truly geothermal folks can go that way. And then there's other people that know everything there is to know about wave power or whatever. That's their Kool-Aid on it.
Because
You know?
all of
And then everybody can find a
Create the big
purpose
umbrella.
and feel needed and
Positive vision of big
Because the media will pick up on the buzz line,
Yeah.
so we don't want it to be stop geothermal.
Right.
I
Not
like
divisive in my
educate
opinion.
people. It's positive.
That's a strategy.
And then you can get your.
Go that
But
after.
Well, okay, so
and
wait, how about
what
we don't have a
energy
name?
educate,
You're gonna
that's
hurt
what our
yourself.
goal is.
Go down
We-
that
but
path.
that- Are we gonna be a group or what? I don't know.
Hawaii for clean.
I don't, it's taking on its own life, isn't it?
I think it's
Wait a minute. Are we the Clean Education Energy Coalition something or something
About
now?
9 letters.
Did we just write a charter or something? Wait a minute.
That's actually sort of what we're doing.
I know. That's why I said it out loud. I've done this before a couple times, and that ends up with like a whole decade-long freaking nightmare in your life. Is how that goes. And you understand, I've already got one going on. A decade-long nightmare
Yeah,
in my
so
life.
that really is a question. I know your plate's full. It's more like, does this group want to form its own sort of organization to take care of this, or is this just where we all sort of meet in the middle? I don't know.
I'd like to propose that there's already a functional group that's doing this work with the Defense Fund. It invites everybody from wherever you are to come and help. That's a place to do this work if you want to work at the organizational level. And I think, Pele Defense can use all the hands on deck that are willing and able. And so as a group that's doing this as an exercise in how to plan a direct action, and forming coalitions, asking Pele Defense, how can we come to your aid in your goals, because we adapted this goal as a group.
I think that's a really good suggestion. You're
Strengthening rather than splintering.
exactly.
This time.
Yeah. I don't know that we need to form something separate.
Right.
And Gary, you're.
I don't think that we need to get splinter even further. No. We can.
So this is something, if everyone's agreeing with that we would be doing on behalf of. We're doing this exercise sort of on behalf of Pele Defense Fund.
Well, their issues are larger than that, but it could be like Clean Energy Coalition or whatever you said.
Yeah.
Committee for.
Okay, but not necessarily. Not starting our own entity.
Right.
Under the umbrella,
Well, and I'll tell you what, almost everybody in this room, I consider, actually, if you're in this room, I personally consider you an occupier,
I know.
whether you are or not. So this could certainly easily become a work group of either Occupy Hilo or Pahoa or both.
Yeah.
Right? And this actually would be an awesome stepping off point for Hilo and Pahoa to work together and give us a reason, yes, to talk to each other and get some stuff going on, because the next thing I'm going to hit you with after this training is we need to have a statewide GA. Okay? So prepare yourself. We need to do this stuff. But how about that I think the intention today is to come up, to teach skills and to come up with some sort of action that we can pull off, and we can do that. But to create a new group that's going to last beyond this afternoon I think we're getting splintered, like Gary said, and that there are groups out there that are doing wonderful work that we can certainly latch onto and promote and add our.
Seeing this training as us going out to whichever groups and projects we're drawn to personally, taking what we learned and using these skills, either creating new actions or working in alignment with groups taking back, skills that everybody knows. Not necessarily to form a whole new effort.
Responsibility.
Building bridges.
Exactly.
Always
trying to build bridges.
That's where we were going.
Yeah.
And that's not why we're here.
Well, because I'm skipping down to the end, you know, and thinking, well, what direct action tactics are we going to advance? What are we going to do with this, you know?
They want us to step away from this, having an action plan all set, or at least, you know, some vision of it. But, but it's not, it may or may not happen, but it's a good place to start thinking about, you know, what we're talking about.
We're making this our own, so it belongs to the community and the people in this room. So we don't have to follow that model if it creates discord.
We can take it or leave it.
We can look at it as an exercise. We can take this work back to Kelly Defense Fund, take it back to Occupy Hilo, take it back to Occupy Pahoa. We need to have a GA for Occupy Pahoa, you know, get that going. But
maybe we should try to get Pahoa and us on our Thursday night things and have them on watching us and at least twittering or something to us while we're at the same time, or at least have students.
But my
some other way we can make the
here
connection.
is to like work with Robert. Like I'm getting his emails, you know, and work with Marty, and she's going to make up a flyer so that we can go to Occupy Pahoa and we can have information. So just to kind of carry out, like that we're all together doing whatever it is we need to do. So I know where I'm headed, you know, and I'm committed. But everybody has to have their own commitments and how we're going to all plug into this.
We need an information center of some kind.
Well, I've been pushing for the media, Occupy Hilo media thing, or some kind of media. That's what it's all about. It's about getting the news out to people and educating people. It's all about having to do with the free press. That's all it's
and
about.
networking. I mean, this could just be.
And direct action is designed to educate the populace. That's what we're there for, and that's what the result should be: is an education, opening up why these, showing the, picking a little sore spot on what's wrong with the system, and advertising.
And if we had one place or one flyer or something, but like for the month, like what's going on in Hilo and what's going on at Hilo, you know, what we can do.
A good calendar system, both an online calendar and a one that we can post. Because a lot of people in Puna, they're not hooked in internet-wise. You know, everybody's out on solar and they don't have internet access. So doing all this live streaming for Puna isn't necessarily, it's not necessarily best use of our energy and resources. People do go into the local businesses and read the bulletin boards, and there's a lot of ways that we need to kind of be a little more old-fashioned, you know, in reaching people and networking, knowing where we are. You know, so.
And I would suggest maybe radio stations. The laws, the rules have been lessened to get radio stations, low power radio stations. It's relatively cheap. And it'd be a good way of publishing to local communities. And publishing this FM station. Everybody tune in the Pahoa, or Radio Pahoa, whatever you want to call it. And that's how you get to people who don't have email, who don't have. They still have radios. You get people have transistor radios. You advertise it, they'll tune in. Especially if it's pertaining to empowering them and getting information they need to run their lives. And if you create a service that they like, they want to come back to, people will come.
It's a good long-term goal.
Yeah, I mean it's relatively cheap. Relatively, I mean it's a couple thousand. I heard like $10,000 to make it full. But that's still relatively cheap, and if we get a community behind it, it could be. It's just like you said.
So radio technology is going to be around. Always.
Yeah, and it gets to people who don't have that computer or don't even have a computer savvy to find the things.
I'd like to go back to what Tina said about the old-fashioned, and, making the flyers and that kind of stuff.
And people aren't always going to go home and look up a website if you run into them. You may tell them how to give it to them, but if you can hand them a flyer,
with the thing on it, look it up.
Then they can look it up. Yeah.
Yeah. If they have.
Yep.
And I think, Puna and Pahoa being close-knit community that it is, taking advantage of the community space at the museum.
Yes.
She's offered that to us, and doing, every other week, if not weekly, gatherings where we can do teach-ins. I'm a big fan of each one, teach one. In our community, it's just chock full of people with skills, everything from hand skills to activist skills to farming and sustainability skills, and to just have a place where people know that it's not a market, it's not a it's not a concert, it's a place where you can really go and get hands-on skills and really occupy the place that we're in.
I think the museum's a great idea, and the man Steve who got his home foreclosed on in Hilo, he's there Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and doing silk screening and stuff. So and Pete's really good. Anyway, I think it's a great place.
Yeah, she's very amenable to us.
Yeah, they're great.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good idea.
Let's work on that.
Come
So-
on, man. Which one? Which guy?
Well, Pete and I don't even know her name.
Sarah.
Sarah.
Isn't it
Yeah,
Sarah?
Sarah. That's right. Sarah.
I think it is.
Sarah.